Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our Israelite Advanced Bible Study night, Tuesday night, 11th of February, 2025. Okay, we'll be dealing with when David was made king over Judah. In 2 Samuel, we're going to read that chapter and then we'll break that down. Okay, you can go to our YouTube channel, Prophets of Awakening. Check out our videos. We have over 1,000 or so videos that you can look at and examine. These videos will lead you to the truth of the Holy Scripture. And if you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It would be greatly appreciated. And our hours that we are live is Tuesday and Wednesday, 7 to 9 p.m. Central Time. Friday nights, 7 to 9 p.m. Central Time. That's our men's advanced Bible study. Then we have two classes on the Shabbat. One in the morning, our morning Shabbat is from 10 to 12 a.m. Central Time. Then we close the Shabbat out from 6 to 7 in the evening. Okay, and then Sunday we have a Israelite Advanced Bible study for it's starting at 5 p.m. in the evening Central Time. And then and also we have our sister channel where we have our women's advanced Bible study on. It's called Israelite Wake Up. That's every Thursday from 7 to 9 Central Time. Okay. And like I said, any of those times that you want to engage, feel free to come in online. You want to come in the room, you have to call in 339-802-0889 and then we have to get your information in order to send it to your email or messenger, however we do that. Okay, with that being said, for those that don't know, this is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses by our Redeemer and our Savior, the Lord of Hosts. Shalom and welcome to the channel, and welcome to our Israelite Advanced Bible Study. Okay, we're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence, a prayer, Psalms. We have some current events, some need-to-know information. We open it up for any comments or questions or any dialogue. And then we'll go into our topic, which is David is made king of Judah. We're going to read that and break it down. Then before we close out, we will pick a scripture out of the scriptures and break it down. Get the true meaning out of each scripture every time we do it. Okay. So with that being said, this moment of silence is for the Lord of Hosts and all that He's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. Okay. Oh Lord, we come before Thee at this time, thanking You for Your mercy and power. And we appreciate You, O Lord, for Your patience and guidance in these last days. Oh Lord, we thank You for Your awakening of us and this great understanding of Your word. And for this cause, we honor and respect You greatly. Turn not Thy face from us, but allow us in our searching of You to find You, O Lord, in these last days and to dwell with You. Peace be unto You. Okay. So with that being said, I'll read a psalm. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna read I'll read Psalm 78. It's a reminder of God's goodness to Israel. It's the Psalm of Asaph. Give ear, O my people, to my law. Incline your ears to the words of my mouth. I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings of old, which we have heard and known, and our fathers have told us. We will not hide them from their children, showing to the generations to come the praises of the Lord and His strength and His wonderful works that He have done. For He established a testimony in Jacob and appointed a law in Israel, which He commanded our fathers that they should make them known to their children, that the generation to come might know them, even the children which shall be born, who shall arise and declare them to their children, that they might set their hope in God and not forget the works of God, but keep His commandments, and might not to be as their not to be as their fathers, a stubborn and rebellious generation, a generation that set not their hearts aright, and whose spirit was not steadfast with God. Children of Israel, being armed and carrying bows, turned back in the day of battle. They kept not the covenant of God and refused to walk in His law and forget His works and His wonders that He had showed them. Marvelous things did He in the sight of their fathers, in the land of Egypt, in the fields of Zoan. He divided the sea and caused them to pass through, and He made the waters to stand as a heap. In the daytime also He led them with a cloud, and all the night with a light of fire. He clave the rocks in the wilderness. He gave them drink as out of the great depths. He brought streams also out of rocks. He caused waters to run down like rivers, and they sinned yet more against Him by provoking the Most High in the wilderness. And they tempted God in their heart by asking meat for their lusts. Yea, they spake against God. They said, can God furnish a table in the wilderness? And behold, He smote the rock, that the waters gushed out, and the streams overflowed. Can also can He provide flesh for His people? Therefore the Lord heard this and was wroth. So a fire was kindled against Jacob, and anger also came up against Israel, because they believed not in God and trusted not in His salvation, though He had commanded the clouds from above and opened the doors of heaven, and had rained down manna upon them, and had given them the corn of heaven. Man did eat angels' food. He sent them meat to the full. He caused an east wind to blow in the heaven, and by the power He brought in the south wind. He rained flesh also upon them as dust, and feathered fowls like as the sands of the sea. And He let it fall in the midst of their camp, round about them their habitation. So they did eat and were filled, and He gave them their own desire. They they were not estranged from their lust, but while their meat was yet in their mouths, the wrath of God came upon them and slew the fattest of them, and smote down the chosen men of Israel. For all this they sinned still, and believed not for His wondrous works. Therefore their days did He consume in vanity, and their years in trouble. And when he slew them, then they sought Him, and they returned and inquired earlier after God. And they remembered that God was their rock, and the high God their Redeemer. Nevertheless, they did not uh, flatter Him with their mouths, and they lied unto Him with their tongues. Okay. For their hearts were not right with Him, neither were they steadfast in His covenant. But He, being full of compassion, forgave their iniquity and destroyed them not. Yea, many a times turned He His anger away, and He did not stir up all His wrath, for He remembered that they were flesh, a wind that passeth away and cometh not again. How oft did they provoke Him in the wilderness and grieved Him in the desert? They turned and tempted God and limited the Holy One of Israel. They remembered not His hand, nor the day He delivered them from the enemy, how He had wrought His signs in Egypt and His wonders in the fields of Zoan, and had turned their rivers into blood, and their floods that they could not drink. He sent divers sorts of flies among them, which devoured them, and frogs, which destroyed them. He gave also their increase unto the caterpillar, and their labor unto the locust. He destroyed their vines with hail, and their sycamore trees with frost. He gave up their cattle also to hail, and their flocks to hot thunderbolts. He cast upon them uh, the fierceness of his anger, wrath, and indignation, and trouble, by sending evil angels among them. He made a way to his he made a way to his anger. He spared not their souls from death, but gave them life over pestilence, unto pestilence, and smote all the firstborn in Egypt, the chief of their strength, in the tabernacles of Ham, but made his own people to go forth like sheep, and guided them in the wilderness like a flock, and he led them on safely, so that they feared not, but the sea overwhelmed their enemies, and he brought them to the borders of his sanctuary, even to this mountain, which is his right hand, which his right hand had purchased. He cast out the heathen also before them, and divided them and inherited by line, and made the tribes of Israel to divide in their tents. Yet they tempted and provoked the Most High God, and kept not his testimonies, but turned back and dealt unfaithfully like their fathers, and they were turned aside like a deceitful bow. For they provoked him to anger with their high places, to jealousy with their graven images. And when God heard this, he was wroth, and greatly abhorred Israel, so that he forsook the tabernacle of Shiloh, the tents which he had placed among men, and he delivered his strength into captivity, and his glory into the enemy's hand. He gave his people over also unto the sword, and was wroth with his inheritance. The fire consumed their young men, and their maidens were not given to marriage. Their priests fell by the sword, and their widows made no lamentations. Then the Lord awakened as one out of sleep, and like a mighty man that shouted by reason of wine, and he smote his enemies in the hinder part. He put them to the perpetual reproach. Moreover, he refused the tabernacle of Joseph, and hosted, and chose not the tribe of Ephraim, but chose the tribe of Judah, uh, the Mount Zion, which he beloved, and he built his sanctuary like high places, like the earth which he had established forever. He chose David also, his servant, and took him from the sheepfold, from following the ewes, great with young. He brought him to feed Jacob his people, and Israel his inheritance. So he fed them according to the integrity of his heart, and guided them by the skillfulness of his hands. So that was Psalm 78. Anybody have any comments on that? Everybody good?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you can see right here that let me get this right quick. Okay, you can see right here. I showed you the other day in Isaiah chapter uh, 19 how Zoan was the Zoan in the city of Newt, and there's other places, other two places. Uh, No was where these giants was at. That was actually they was the council of Israel. That's where Israel got strength from. Was where these giants that was at Nephilim that was in Zoan. And we see he mentioned it like twice. See if I can find it. He said, so like I said, I show you those things so that you can get a better, deeper understanding of what's really going on. And he said that he went to, yeah, here you go, right here. 42 or Psalm 78. They remember not his hand, nor the day when he delivered them from the enemy, how he had wrought his signs in Egypt and his wonders in the fields of Zon. See that? So that's what he's talking about, what I showed you in Isaiah 19 the other day. Okay, so I'm gonna leave right there. Okay, so we'll go to some current events. Play it and then we'll talk about it.
X, are you okay? This is X, and he's a great guy, high IQ. He's a high IQ individual.
And he's got this, they're showing out this cool chain he's got.
So thank you very much. We had a busy day today. The king just left, and we've had a great discussion, terrific discussion concerning Gaza and everything else. We had discussions also about Saturday at 12 o'clock. It's going to be a big moment. We'll see what happens. I don't expect much, but we'll see what happens. And we're going to be signing a very important deal today. It's Doge, and I'm going to ask Elon to tell you a little bit about it and some of the things that we found, which is shocking. Billions and billions of dollars of waste, fraud, and abuse. And I think it's very important. And that's one of the reasons I got elected. I said, we're going to do that. Nobody had any idea it was that bad, that sick, and that corrupt. And it seems hard to believe that judges want to try and stop us from looking for corruption, especially when we found hundreds of millions of dollars worth, much more than that, in just a short period of time. And we want to weed out the corruption. And it seems hard to believe that a judge could say, we don't want you to do that.
I wasn't looking to cheat, but when a younger
Well, so maybe we have to look at the judges, because that's very serious. I think it's a very, very serious. Elon Musk to say a few words, and we'll take some questions.
Sure. So the at a high level, you say, what is the goal of Doge or the presidency is to restore democracy. This may seem like, well, aren't we in a democracy? Well, if you don't have a feedback loop, okay, we'd have to, if you sorry, so gravitas can be difficult sometimes. If there's not a good feedback loop from the people to the government, and if you have rule of the bureaucrat, if the bureaucracy is in charge, and then what meaning does democracy actually have? If the people cannot vote and have their will be decided by their elected representatives in the form of the president and the Senate and the House, then we don't live in a democracy. We live in a bureaucracy. So it's incredibly important that we close that feedback loop, we fix that feedback loop, and that the public's elected representatives, the president, the House, and the Senate, decide what happens, as opposed to a large unelected bureaucracy. This is not to say that there are good people who are in the federal bureaucracy, but you can't have an autonomous federal bureaucracy. You have to have one that's responsive to the people. That's the whole point of a democracy. And if you looked at this, if you asked the founders today and said, well, what do you think of the way things have turned out? Well, we have this unelected, fourth unconstitutional branch of government, which is the bureaucracy, which has, in a lot of ways, currently more power than any elected representative. And this is not something that people want, and it does not match the will of people. So it's just something we've got to fix. And we've also got to address the deficit. So we've got a $2 trillion deficit, and if we don't do something about this deficit, the country's going bankrupt. I mean, it's really astounding that the interest payments alone on the national debt exceed the Defense Department budget, which is shocking because we spend a lot of money on defense, and if that just keeps going, we're essentially going to bankrupt the country. So what I really want to say is, like, it's not optional for us to reduce the federal expenses. It's essential. It's essential for America to remain solvent as a country, and it's essential for America to have the resources necessary to provide things to its citizens and not simply be servicing vast amounts of debt.
And also, could you mention some of the things that your team has found, some of the crazy numbers, including the woman that walked away with about 30 million,
right,
etc.?
Well, we do find it sort of rather odd that there are quite a few people in the bureaucracy who have ostensibly a salary of a few $100,000, but somehow manage to accrue tens of millions of dollars in net worth while they are in that position, which is, what happened to USAID. We're just curious as to where it came from. Maybe they're very good at investing, in which case we should take their investment advice, perhaps. But just there seems to be mysteriously they get wealthy. We don't know why. Where does it come from? And I think the reality is that they're getting wealthy at taxpayer expense. That's the honest truth of it. So.
Okay. Any comments on that? Anybody seen that today? So they passing a bill, executive order, to downsize the government workforce. Anybody heard of that today? Okay, nobody say that. Let me go to the next one. Okay.
Between Israel and Hamas is even more uncertain after the Israeli Prime Minister threatened to restart the war if hostages held in Gaza are not released by Saturday. This is a familiar scene in Tel Aviv where protesters are demanding Benjamin Netanyahu stick to the terms of the truce, which took effect on January the 19th. But he's accusing Hamas of breaking its end of the deal by delaying the release of the next round of hostages.
The decision that I passed unanimously in the cabinet is this: if Hamas does not return our hostages by Saturday noon, the ceasefire will end and the military will return to intense fighting until Hamas is finally defeated.
During the first phase of the ceasefire, Hamas agreed to release 33 hostages it captured during its assault on southern Israel on October the 7th, 2023. In exchange, Israel would free almost 2,000 Palestinian prisoners. 5 swaps have taken place so far, involving 16 Gaza captives and more than 650 Palestinian inmates. The second phase is more complicated. It would see all remaining hostages released from Gaza, and the ceasefire would be extended indefinitely. Hamas says it's holding Israel accountable for any complications. Protesters in Tel Aviv fear the Israeli Prime Minister's ultimatum will jeopardise the deal.
People are dying slowly but surely. They are desperate to get out of the underworld that Hamas built, and we have to save them while we can. Unfortunately, we are only pieces in the games of Bibi and our government.
You must release them, I would like to say, yesterday. It's impossible to continue this way. We can fight the Hamas later.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to have King Abdullah with us.
In Washington, the US president welcomed Jordan's king to the White House a day after he declared that all hell would break out if the remaining Israeli hostages aren't released by Hamas by Saturday. Donald Trump again pushed his idea for the US to take control of Gaza and for Jordan to take in Palestinian refugees.
It's not a complex thing to do. And with the United States being in control of that piece of land, fairly large piece of land, you can have stability in the Middle East for the first time. And the Palestinians, or the people that live now in Gaza, will be living beautifully in another location. They're going to be living safely. They're not going to be killed, murdered, and having to leave every 10 years, because I've been watching this for so many years. It's nothing but trouble.
Both Jordan and Egypt oppose the permanent displacement of Palestinians from Gaza and Mr. Trump's idea to develop the enclave into the so-called Riviera of the Middle East. King Abdullah told the president he will do what's best for his country, saying Arab nations are preparing a counter-proposal.
We have to keep in mind that there is a plan from Egypt and the Arab countries. We're being invited by Mohammed bin Salman to discussions in Riyadh. I think the point is how to make this work in a way that is good for everybody. Right. Obviously, we have to look at the best interests of the United States, of the people of the region, especially to my people of Jordan.
Okay. Any comments on that? Okay. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So let's go to our need to know information. Okay, let me see what I got. Yeah, okay. Thought this right here was pretty interesting.
Subscribed. I know I'm banging this drum a lot. I am not worthy of this platform. You have saw fit to subscribe and be interested in the way I talk about the news. My trying to motivate people to do the right thing, to get involved in politics, and I am beyond humbled. I thank you very much. Anyway, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. On February 6th, let's talk about this. On February 6th, I did a video. The title of which, if you want to go look for it, is Racist Trump Threatening Criminal Charges for Companies That Hire Black People. And in the thumbnail, because it's YouTube, and you got to give a little bit of a mild clickbait, even though I stand by both the thumbnail and the title in this case. Trump bringing back segregation. And here's the description of the video. Jesse talks about Trump's dispatching of his Attorney General, Pat Bondi, to threaten criminal prosecutions of private companies who have DEIA policies to enable the hiring of Black, LGBTQ, etc. employees. So Donald Trump is threatening criminal action against private companies who have hiring policies that are their business, right? A lot of people push back. Oh, that's total clickbait. That's not, they're not bringing back segregation. They're not trying to not hire Black people. This is just your liberal fever dream. There was all kinds of hateful, idiot comments of people who aren't clearly watching the landscape of what's taking place in the country, or are partisan hacks who are trying to cover for Donald Trump and their racism. Enter military.com. This isn't the New Republic. This isn't the Intercept. This isn't Mother Jones. This isn't a left-leaning journalistic outlet. Excuse me. This is military.com, an outlet that covers stories and has an understanding of what goes on in the military, has access to people. And there's a quote in here. In fact, I'll just read this quote. It's fucking racist, one active duty Army general told military.com on the condition of anonymity to avoid retaliation. To avoid retaliation, this active duty general had to remain anonymous. Here's the headline. Military drops recruiting efforts at prestigious Black Engineering Awards event. Now, take a step back before I read from this. The narrative by Republicans, the narrative by Donald Trump and other racists, yes, other, including him, others who are racist, is that DEI just wants to hire any Black body, whoever, just, oh, get them in there, they're Black, that's good enough. They act as though qualification has nothing to do with it. That it's just the color of your skin, and that actual qualified white people get boxed out of jobs so that an unqualified Black person or gay person or trans person or woman, or name your hated group by Republicans, so they can get the job. That's what they would have you believe, right? So why, in this case, would they pull out of a prestigious Black engineering event that I think they said was like ripe with talent? It's the most dense talent venue, or something like that is how they describe it. You're turning down the possibility of hiring wildly talented, wildly intelligent, wildly skilled candidates for jobs within the military only because they're Black. It's the reverse of what they claim, because they're liars. They're racist, white supremacists. They've allowed the white Christian nationalist agenda to take hold, and now they have Pete Hegseth, a white supremacist, as the Secretary of Defense, to put this into action. And as I talked about in a previous video, the makeup of the military is just about 50-50 white and then minority groups, Latino, Asian, Black, roughly 50-50. I think it was 49.6% Black and Latino, Black and brown folks, right? Here's the article.
Okay.
This is how to get in shape fast. The best way to boost your medical.
Okay.
Army and other service branches are abandoning recruiting efforts at a prestigious Black engineering event this week, turning down access to a key pool of highly qualified potential applicants amid President Donald Trump's purge of diversity initiatives in the military. Until this week, Army Recruiting Command had a long-standing public with the Black Engineer of the Year Awards, or BEYA, an annual conference that draws students, academics, and professionals in science, technology, engineering, and math, also known as STEM. The event, which takes place in Baltimore, oh no, that's a historically very Black city. I see why they wouldn't want to go. Very scary for white Republicans. Yeah. The event, which takes place in Baltimore, has historically been a key venue for the Pentagon to recruit talent, including awarding reserve officers training corps scholarships and pitching military service to rising engineers. Past BEYA events have included the Army Chief of Staff and the Defense Secretary. Quote, "This is one of the most talent-dense events we do," one Army recruiter told military.com, on the condition that their name not be used. "Our footprint there has always been significant. We need that talent," says a subject matter expert, a military recruiter. We need that talent, whether they be Black or white. These are talented, qualified, skilled individuals. The services cited concerns that participation in the predominantly Black event could run afoul of Trump's order and the Pentagon's intensifying push to erase diversity efforts in the military, according to multiple sources familiar with the decision. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth on January 31 ordered that Black History Month, Women's History Month, and others were officially dead, quote unquote, and that the military would no longer mark them. Quote, "In compliance with the Department of Defense and Headquarters Department of the Army guidance, U.S. Army Recruiting Command will not participate in the upcoming BEYA event," Madison Bonzo, a service spokesperson, said in a statement to military.com. Quote, "Service members and civilians are permitted to attend this event in an unofficial, personal capacity if they choose to do so."
Okay. Any comments on that? What you think? Well, so if you didn't think that they was racist after this, I mean, something wrong.
Okay, Brother Leonard, there's several things going on, and I apologize. I did see that earlier, but then I just read that he is forgiving any IRS people who owe money.
Okay.
And, they're not specifying who,
Right. Okay. Anybody else? Okay, we'll open it up for some Q&A. Anybody have any questions or comments about anything they came across or something they heard on this line? They wanted some clarity. Okay. So with that being said, I was kind of motivated a little bit today. I came across this right here. We'll play a little bit of these guys that found out that who JC really is, and they are doing something about it. So let me play a little bit of it. Okay.
I don't want to say JC. That's right, boy. He's mad for real. Right. They mad. Attach that idol right there. Attach that idol. I got you. Every 6, we put the idol down. These guys get mad. Right. Hey, the New Testament says, love thine enemy. If we your enemy now, you gotta love us. Right. For some reason, y'all hate. All right, y'all hate. It's all good, man. We gonna do a quick. That's right. We gonna do a quick. How we're only. That's right.
This is the reason why you see all these. They're using all these movie stars and the Pope and everybody coming out with these pictures of images of Black Jesus because they don't want this to happen. They're gonna cut this, avoid this.
An idol. Right. Let me get Isaiah chapter 2, verse 16. Yep, I got you, bro. There's some all idols, man. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 2, and verse 16. Read it out.
Quickest way to boost ketone levels.
The number. So, like, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 2, verse 17. Yeah. And the loftiness of man shall be bowed down, right? And the haughtiness of men shall be made low. Yeah. And Yahweh alone be exalted. And Yahweh alone. No Baha'i JC. Yahweh alone shall be exalted. Be exalted. In that day. In that day. No JC. No JC. The Baha'i alone is going to be exalted in that day. And the idols, is JC. He shall utterly abolish. Utterly abolish, destroy, tear down. And they shall go into the hole. They shall go into the hole. Talking about that idol. Of the rocks. Into the caves of the earth. For fear of the Yahweh. For who? The fear of Yahweh. The fear of Yahweh, man. And for the glory of his majesty. His majesty alone. When he arises, the Most High Yahweh arises to shake terribly the earth. What? The earth. In that day, a man shall cast his idol. A man shall cast his idol. A man shall cast his idol. A man shall cast his idol of silver and his idol of gold, which they made, each one of them himself to worship, to the mole and to the bat. Don't go to the animals and the rodents, man. Don't get rid of that, man. To go into the cliffs, they're gonna go into the cliffs of the rock, and they're gonna go and hide it, man. Into the top of the ragged rocks. For fear, for fear of Yahweh, and for the glory of his majesty, when he arises, to shake terribly, the earth. Cease ye from men whose breath is in his nostrils.
Okay, ain't that something? That was something good to see. Come be on the internet and come across that. You know, these brothers, young bucks, they're waking up. They're starting to wake up. Okay, any comments on that?
Shalom. No comments on that. But in the USA Today, Trump wants to pitch the penny, and the penny costs more than a penny. It costs him 3 cents to make a penny. So he's trying to see where he can save there.
Okay, so he's trying to start a penny?
Yes, sir. Take it away. Stop mincing the penny.
Okay. Yeah, so I've been seeing that there's a lot of debate going on about the Kendrick Lamar halftime show. Anybody got any comments on that? Anybody see it? Anybody want to talk about that? I feel like I need to open it up, see if somebody has comments on it.
Shalom. As I was listening to Kim, listening at halftime, he was saying a lot of things inside of his rapping that brought attention to me. He spoke on slavery. He spoke on being an entrepreneur. He spoke on not letting someone rule over you. This is things I got out of his rap. And then what's his name? The other guy, Samuel Jackson. He basically, to me, as I was looking at it, was saying, "Okay, I need y'all to listen to this." When he said, "I know you got you. Okay, check this out," and then when he said that, and then presented the young rapper, and he went on and said what he was saying. It was a lot of information coming out of that, out of his rap. If someone really listened to what he was saying and not just listening to the beats or looking at the people dance. That's what I got out of a lot of things that he said. That's
Okay.
all.
Okay. Anybody else?
Shalom, everyone. Yes, sir. I did see the halftime show, and of course, it has been hot all over the internet. And yes, he, was saying a lot of things concerning the Israelites. Quoted some things out of Deuteronomy and so forth, right? But I don't think he knows who his God is. He still believes in Christ. So I done some research on him and also went and listened to some more of his music videos that he made, and he mentions Christ in those videos. So it's just like IUIC and a lot of the other groups that they speak on you know Hebrew Israelites, but they still Christ. They think he's black. They say Yahshua. So it was great for him to, hear him say that, but he just doesn't know who his savior is.
Right. Hebrew Christian. Okay. Yeah, it says Kendrick Lamar halftime show, the meaning of it. I was looking at this article. It says Lamar's halftime outing was filled with messaging. Some of his sentiments were easily discernible, others required a bit closer examination. Lamar's showcase was multifaceted in nature, with barbs being fired in all sorts of different directions. Might have been a method to the madness, according to Sheila Rogers, the event director. During a press conference held at Apple Music on February the 6th, Lamar vowed to implement storytelling into his performance. His use of simple geometric shapes as part of his and X squares, circles, triangles resembled a PlayStation style controller. Rogers hypothesis that Lamar made that choice intentionally. I think the video game theme was symbolic in its way to people. Rogers wired. A lot of it is showing his journey traveling through the American dream. The American dream, the fallacious nature of his pursuit, particularly to African Americans, seems to be one of Lamar's central tenets throughout Lamar's display. Samuel Jackson offered his services during the mayhem, striding onto stage, outfitted in Uncle Sam like attire. Jackson, who served as the showcase narrator, espoused all the typical virtues linked with Americana, including racism, his adherence to respectability politics, a push for those when marginalizing backgrounds to make up individual to make up invisible parts of their identity and tradition in the hopes of assembling. Called back to his performance in the Django Unchained. Jackson's character Stephen was the film's main antagonist, a house slave beholden to his slave owner even after his death. Okay, so that pretty much summed it up. Like he said, he was shooting arrows everywhere, so you had to be kind of in the know to figure out some of the things that he was doing. Okay. Anybody else got anything on that? Okay. Go to our topic, which is like I said, I'll be reading out of 2 Samuel. Is when David became a king of Israel right after Saul had died. Okay, start reading that. And we'll break it down. So it's 2 Samuel. Make sure I'm in the right place. 2 Samuel chapter 2, starting at chapter 2, verse 1. And it came to pass after this that David inquired of the Lord, saying, shall I go up into any of the cities of Judah? And the Lord said unto him, go up. And David said, whither shall I go up? And he said, unto Hebron. So David went up thither, and his two wives, Ahinoam, the Jezreelitess, and Abigail, Nabal's wife, the Carmelite, and his men that did David bring up, every man with his household, and they dwelt in the cities of Hebron. And the men of Judah came, and there they anointed David king of the house of Judah. And they told David, saying that the men of Jabesh Gilead the men of Jabesh Gilead were they that buried Saul. And David sent messengers unto the men of Jabesh Gilead, and said unto them, blessed be ye of the Lord, that ye have showed this kindness unto your Lord, even unto Saul, and have buried him. And now the Lord showed kindness and truth unto you. And I also will inquire or requite you this kindness, because you have done this thing. Therefore now let your hands be strengthened, and be ye valiant, for your master Saul is dead, and also the house of Judah have anointed me king over them. But Abner, the son of Ner, captain of Saul's host, took Isabella, the son of Saul, and brought him over to Mahanaim, okay, and made him king over Gilead, and over the Asherites, and over Jezreel, and over Ephraim, and over Benjamin, and over all Israel. Okay, says, and Isabella, Saul's son, was 40 years old when he began to reign over Israel, and he reigned 2 years. But the house of Judah followed David. And the time that David was king in Hebron over the house of Judah was 7 years and 6 months. And Abner, the son of Ner, and the servants of Isabel, son of Saul, went out from Mahanaim to Gibeon. And Joab, the son of Zor, the servant of David, went out and met together by the pool of Gibeon. And they sat down, the one on the one side of the pool and the other on the other side of the pool. And Abner said unto Joab, let the young men now arise and play before us. And Joab said, let them arise. Then they arose and went over by number 12 of Benjamin, which pertained to Isabel, son of Saul, and 12 of the servants of David. And they caught every one his fellow by the head, and thrust the sword in his fellow's side. So they fell down together, wherefore that place was called can't say that word, Hezron, which is in Gibeon. And there was a very sore battle that day, and Abner was beaten, and the men of Israel before the servants of David. And there was 3 sons of Zerah there, Joab, Abishai, and Azrael. And Azrael was as light of the foot as a swift roe. This is what I was talking about right here. These guys right here are giants. The Most High put a spirit on, right? So 19, and Azrael pursued after Abner, and in the going, he turned not to the right hand nor to the left, from following Abner. Then Abner looked behind him and said, Art thou Azrael? And he answered, I am. And Abner said unto him, Turn thee aside to the right hand, or to the left. Turn not to the right hand or to the left, and lay thee hold on one of the young men, and take thee his own. But Azrael would not turn aside from following him. And Abner said again to Azrael, Turn thee aside from following me. Wherefore should I smite thee to the ground? How then should I hold up my face to Joab thy brother? Right? However, he refused to turn aside. With the hinder end of his spear smote him under the 5th rib, that the spear came out behind him, and he fell down there and died in the same place. And it came to pass that as many as came to the place where Azrael fell down and died stood still. And Joab also and Abishai pursued after Abner, and the sun went down when they came to the hill of Ammah that lieth toward Gib by the way of the wilderness of Gibeon. And the children of Benjamin gathered themselves together after Abner and became one troop and stood on the top of the hill. Then Abner called to Joab and said, Shall the sword devour forever? Knowest thou not that it will be bitterness in the latter end? How long shall it be ere thou bid the people from following their brethren? And Joab said, As God liveth, unless thou hast spoken, surely then in the morning the people had gone up everyone from following his brother. So Joab blew a trumpet, and all the people stood still and pursued after Israel no more, neither thought they any more. And Abner and his men walked all that night through the plains and passed over Jordan and went through all of Bitron, and they came to Mahanaim. And Joab returned from following Abner, and when he had gathered all the people together, there lacked of David's servants 19 men and Azrael. But the servants of David had smitten of Benjamin and of Abner's men, so that 360 men died. And they took up Azrael, buried him in the sepulchre of his father, which was in Bethlehem. And and Joab and his men went all night, and they came to Hebron at daybreak. Okay, that was 2 Samuel chapter 2, verse 1. So if that don't make no sense to you, I'll make it make sense. So right here, this guy Azrael, Joab killed him, right? That's David, Lord of hosts. Joab was David's Lord of hosts, right? So if you remember, we read when Solomon became king, it was some things Solomon had to do to clean up David's house before David died. This was one of them right here. So Joab killed that one of these mighty men, and just let him stuck him in the side under the 5th rib, and he fell to the ground and died. He didn't do nothing. He just laid there, and he went off. He killed an innocent man, shed innocent blood during the time of David was king. So when Solomon came on the throne, Solomon had to avenge what Joab had done. That's why Joab ran into the temple and grabbed hold to the altar. And he Solomon sent his Lord of hosts in there, Benaiah. And he wasn't supposed to shed blood inside the temple. So Benaiah went back and told Solomon what he done. And then Solomon went back and told him, go in the temple and kill him in the temple. So Benaiah went in there and ran him through like he did this guy right here. And so Solomon was cleaning, he cleaned up the blood that was in Solomon's house, in David's house. That's what that was all about. So if you come across that and read it, then you'll see what that was about. These is one of the things. He had a couple of other things he had to do. Like I said, for example, when the guy Shimei, when Absalom came into Jerusalem and David had to flee Jerusalem because Absalom had an army, he was coming to kill David and take his throne. So David had to flee across the Jordan. And this guy Shimei was throwing rocks at David while he was crossing the river and cursing him. So Solomon had to clean that up. But David advised, don't kill him, give him a chance. So Solomon told him, don't leave Jerusalem. You have to live the rest of your life in your land, in your lot, your land you got. And if you ever leave there, they're going to kill him. So he left. Went looking for sheep or something, and David came and killed him. Shalom.
Shalom, brother Leonard. Leonard, is that during the time that Abner, who was a soldier for Saul, during that time?
Right, yeah. Abner, it was Saul, Lord of hosts. So Abner was over Saul's army. So right
yes,
here,
sir. But didn't somebody? I'm sorry. No, go ahead, sir.
No, go ahead.
No, didn't somebody assassinated Abner, and that's when David had a problem with that also?
Yeah, he killed. That's what he was doing when Solomon took the throne. Solomon had to clean up what Abner had done. Abner killed. Joab killed this guy right here, and he also killed Abner. So when you look at the story, when you look at the story, right here, it was after Saul died, they brought David up to Hebron, and he only ruled over Judah. They made him king over Judah. The other tribes didn't want to deal with him because they still was the house of Benjamin. They still felt like the house of Benjamin was over Israel because that's where Saul came from. And so on the way to unify them was to get Abner. Abner had to cross over to David. And that's why he came to Jerusalem. He came to Jerusalem to bring the whole house of Israel together with David. That's when Joab killed him. But he came in peace. Yeah. So I think it's right here in chapter 3. I think it's in chapter 3. I'm gonna read chapter 3, and then I think it's in chapter 3 what happened. So it says, chapter 3, it says six sons born to David in Hebron. So right here, David just over the house of Judah. They just made him king over Judah, right? Now there was a long war between, see that? Here goes a long war, house of Saul and the house of David. But David waxed stronger and stronger, and the house of Saul waxed weaker and weaker. And unto David were sons born in Hebron, and his firstborn was Anna and of Hannah the Jezreelitess, and his second son was child of Abigail, the wife of Nabal the Carmite, and the third was son of Maacah, the daughter of Timah, king of Gear, and the fourth Adonijah, the son of Haggith, and the fifth was Shelter, the son of Abital, and the sixth was Icham by Iglel, David's wife. These were born to David in Hebron. And it came to pass while there was war between the house of Saul and the house of David, that Abner made himself strong for the house of Saul. So Abner is the Lord of hosts over Saul's army. Saul dead, but Abner has all the power in Saul's house, right? Then 7, Saul had a concubine whose name was Rizah, the daughter of Ai, and Isabel said to Abner, "Wherefore hast thou gone in unto my father's concubine?" Then Abner was very wroth with the words of Isabel and said, "Am I a dog's head which against Judah, which do show kindness this day unto the house of Saul thy father, to his brethren and to his friends, and I have not delivered them into the day, that thou chargest me today with a fault concerning this woman? So do God of Abner, and more also, except as the Lord hath sworn to David, even so do I to him." So here you go right here. So this is what Abner went into Hebron to translate the kingdom from the house of Saul. He the only one had the power to do that. He said, "So God of Abner, and more so, except as the Lord hath sworn to David, even so do I to him, to translate the kingdom from the house of Saul, to set up the throne of David over Israel and over Judah, from Dan even unto Bathsheba." He's not only over Judah right now, but he's going to make him, when Abner confirm it, he's going to be over all 12 tribes. And he could not answer Abner a word again because he feared him. And Abner sent, remember, he's a mighty man. And Abner sent messengers to David on his behalf, saying, who is the land? Saying also, "Make thy league with me, and behold, my hand shall be with thee, to bring about all Israel unto thee." So he sent this message to David, and he said, "Well, and I will make a league with thee, but one thing I require of thee, that is, that thou see my face, except thou first bring Michelle, Saul's daughter, when thou comest to see my face." Okay, all right, and messages to Isabel, Saul's son, saying, "Deliver me my wife Michelle, which I espoused to me for 100 foreskins for the Philistines." And Isabel sent and took her from her husband, even from Pithcal, his Laish, and her husband with her along, weeping behind her, to Bethlehem. Then said Abner unto him, "Go and return." And he returned, and Abner had communications with the elders of Israel, saying, "Ye sought for David in times past to be king over you. Now then do it, for the Lord hath spoken of David, saying, By the hand of my servant David, I will save my people Israel out of the hand of the Philistines and out of the hands of all." And Abner also spake in the ears of Benjamin, and Abner went also to speak in the ears of David in Hebron, all that seemed good to Israel, and that seemed good to the whole house of Benjamin. So Abner came to David to Hebron, 20 men with him, and David made Abner and the men that were with him a feast. And Abner said unto David, "I will rise and go, and I will gather all Israel unto my lord, the king, that they make a league with thee, and that thou mayest reign over all of thine heart, reign over all that thine heart desired." And David sent Abner away, and he went in peace. Here you go right here. And behold, the servants of David and Joab came from pursuing the troop, and brought in a great spoil with them. But Abner was not with David in Hebron, for he had sent him away, and he was gone in peace. And when Joab and all his hosts that were with him were come, they told Joab, saying, "Abner the son of Ner came to the king, and he hath sent him away, and he has gone in peace." And Joab came to the king and said, "What hast thou done? Behold, Abner came unto thee. Why is it that thou hast sent him away, and he is quite gone. Thou knowest Abner, the son of Ner, here you go right here. Thou knowest Abner, the son of Ner, that he came to the sea and to know thy goings out and thy coming in, and to know all that thou doest. And when Joab was come out, he sent messengers after Abner, which brought him again from the well of Sirah, but knew it not. And when Abner was returning to Hebron, Joab took him aside the gate to speak with him quickly and smote him there under the fifth rib, that he died for the blood of Asherel. See that? Abner killed Asherel, his brother, Joab. So Joab turned and killed him. It says, and when Abner was returned to Hebron, Joab took him aside into the gate to speak with him quickly and smote him there under the fifth rib, that he died for the blood of Asherel, his brother. And afterwards, when David heard it, he said, I and my kingdom am guiltless before the Lord forever from the blood of Abner, the son of Ner. So this is the blood that Solomon had to clean up right here. That's why he had to kill Joab. Let it rest on the head of Joab, and on all his father's house, and let there not fail from the house of Joab one that have an issue, or that is a leper, or that leaneth on the staff, or falleth on the sword, or lacketh, okay, leaneth on the staff, or falleth on the sword, or that lacketh bread. So Joab and Abishai, his brother, slew Abner, because he had slain their brother Asriel in the battle. And David said to Joab and to all the people that were with him, rend your clothes, gird you up with sackcloth, and mourn before Abner. And the king and King David himself followed to the bride, and they buried Abner in Hebron. And the king lifted up his voice and wept at the grave of Abner, right? And all the people wept. And the king lamented over Abner and said, died Abner as a fool died. Thy hands were not bound, nor thy feet put into fetters, as a man falleth before wicked men. So falleth thou. And all the people wept again over him. And when all the people came to cause David to eat meat while it was yet day, David swore, saying, so do God to me, and more also, if I taste bread or aught else till the sun go be down. And all the people took notice of it, and it pleased them, as whatsoever the king did pleased all the people. For all the people and all Israel understood that day that it was not the king to slay Abner, the son of Ner. And the king said unto his servants, know ye not that there is a prince and a great man fallen this day in Israel, and I am this day weak, though anointed king, and these men, the sons of Zerah, be too hard for me. The Lord shall reward the doer of evil according to his wickedness. So that's why he proclaiming this right here, what Solomon done later. 39. I am this day weak, because Abner is dead, though anointed king. These men, the sons of Zerah, be too hard for me. The Lord shall reward the doer of evil according to his wickedness. So that's what he's talking about. Solomon had to clean that up when he died.
Yes, sir. Brother Leonard, so when he did that for Abner, that pretty well solidified the whole kingdom under him.
Right, it brought him under. It was the hand of the Lord behind it. But yeah, when Abner came to David, he brought all the rest of the tribes to David, and he unified all Israel under David. And right after that, Joab killed him. Okay, anybody else got anything?
Was Abner his second cousin? He was kin to him.
I think I'm not mistaken. I think back in the day doing the research on that, Abner got some kind of tie to one of David's wives.
Yes, sir. And so
He's one of them
in
brother.
First
He been his
Samuel,
wife's brother. Huh?
First Samuel, verse 50.
What did he say?
And the name of Saul's wife was Amahines. I cannot pronounce it. The daughter of another name, and
Right.
his name of the captain of the host was Abner, the son of Ner, Saul's uncle. So he was the second
Right.
cousin
So his
of
brother.
Saul.
Right. Yeah.
Saul.
Okay.
And,
Right. So he was Saul. He was Saul's daddy brother.
son, yes, sir.
Brother. Saul. So Abner is Saul's uncle. So Abner is Saul's daddy brother. And like
Yes,
I was
sir.
saying, yeah, so like I was saying, they mighty men. That's why he chose Saul. And people will understand that he chose the people chose Saul because he's height.
Right. And Abner was the same stature as Saul. They were
Right.
about the same height and
Right. Mighty man.
Yes,
And that's why
sir.
he chose him. Then later on, the Lord of hosts chose David, an Israelite, the Messiah.
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. So anybody else got anything? Okay, we gotta pick a scripture and then we'll break that down and we'll close out.
Everyone. Yes, sir. I'm gonna pick Isaiah 11 through 13 because someone in the chat wanted you to break that down, son of Yashriel, and he also wanted you to break down Ezekiel 20. He said whole chapter, but verses 32 and 39. So I'm first gonna read Isaiah chapter 8, verses 11 through 13.
Okay.
Isaiah chapter 8, verse 11. For the Lord spake thus to me with a strong hand, and instructed me that I should not walk in the way of this people, saying, Say ye not a confederacy to all of them to whom this people shall say a confederacy. Neither fear ye their fear, nor be afraid. 13. Sanctify the Lord of hosts himself, and let him be your fear, and let him be your dread. That was Isaiah chapter 8, verses 11 through 13.
Okay. Yeah. So this is a lot involved in this. You got, if you go back to chapter 7, we go over this all the time. 7 and 14 is talking about. They say that this is a prophecy of JC, a virgin gonna conceive a child, right? This is 7 and 14. Therefore, the Lord Himself shall give you a sign, and behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, shall call his name Emmanuel, right? So we know that's, if you go to start at verse 1 in Isaiah chapter 7. And it came to pass in the days of Ahaz, the sign over here in verse 13, and he said, Hear ye now, O house of David. Ahaz is out of the house of David. This ain't got nothing to do with Jesus. So that's what you're reading in verse 8, chapter 8, tied to this. So I'm going to show you that. So it says, It came to pass in the days of Ahaz, son of Jocham, son of Uz, the king of Judah, that Rezin, king of Syria, and Pecan, the son of Remaliah, king of Israel, went up toward Jerusalem to war against it. So these two kings, right, it's from Israel, the nation of Israel, the 10 tribes, and from Pecan or Remaliah. They're going up to kill. They want to kill Ahaz, that's out of the seed of David. So verse 3, then said the Lord unto Isaiah, prophet, right? Go forth now and meet Ahaz, the son of David, at the end of the conduit to the upper pool in the highway of the fullest field. So you say, what are you talking about? We just read this. That's what Joab met Abner at. Same place. Okay. 4, and said unto him, Take heed, be quiet, fear not, neither be faint-hearted, for the two tails, of these smoking firebrands, that's these two kings that want to kill Ahaz, right? The fierce anger of Rezin, Syria, and the son of Remaliah. 5, because Syria and Ephraim, right? That's the two people, and the son of Remaliah have taken evil counsel against thee, saying, verse 6, let us go up against Judah, vex it, and let us make a breach therein for us, and set a king in the midst of it, even the son of Tubal. So they want to take away the son of David off the throne in Judah and put this son of Tubal on there. That's the brief. That's the objective. That's what this chapter 7 all the way to 14 is about. So he says, he remind them in verse 7, thus said the Lord God, it shall not stand, and neither shall it come to pass. For the head of Syria is Damascus, and the head of Damascus is Rezin, and within 80, check it out, within 65 years shall Ephraim be broken, that it be not a people. So in 65 years, he's gonna cut that off. So they're not gonna be able to do that. So he says, and the head of Ephraim is Samaria, and the head of Samaria is Remaliah's son. If ye will not believe, surely ye shall not be established. So now here you go. So this the Lord of hosts sent Isaiah to talk to Ahaz concerning this situation. That's where we pick it up in verse 5, verse 10. Moreover, the Lord spake unto Ahaz, saying, ask thee, see, he's talking to Ahaz, ask thee a sign of the Lord thy God. Ask it either in the depths or in the heights. But Ahaz said, I will not ask, neither will I tempt the Lord. And Isaiah said, hear ye now, O house of David, it is not a small thing for you to weary men, but will you weary my God? Will you weary the Lord of hosts? 14, because Ahaz wouldn't ask for a sign, Isaiah gave him one right here. Verse 14, therefore the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Talking to Ahaz dead and gone. So he says, therefore says the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and it shall call his name Emmanuel. So Isaiah is a sign. Isaiah, he's going to use the son. The son that's going to be born is out of Isaiah's house. Because of this right here, the Lord going to give him a sign through Isaiah. So 15, butter and honey shall he eat, that he may know to refuse the evil and choose the good. For behold, the child shall know to refuse the evil, choose the good. This is the child in Isaiah 7 and 14. For before the child shall know to refuse the evil and choose the good, the Lord that thou abhorrest shall be forsaken of both kings. Go all the way back to verse 1, chapter 7, the two kings. 17, the Lord shall bring upon thee and upon thy people and upon thy father's house days that have not come, from the day that Ephraim departed from Judah, even the king of Assyria. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall hiss for the fly that is in the other parts of the river of Egypt, and for the bee that is in the land of Syria. That's the two kings. And they shall come and shall rest all of them in the desolate valleys and in the holes of the rocks and upon the thorns, upon the bushes, the bushes. In the same day shall the Lord shave with a razor that is hired, namely by both beyond the river, by the king of Assyria, the head and the hair and the feet, and it shall also consume the beard. And it shall come to pass in that day that a man shall nourish a young cow and 2 sheep, and it shall come to pass for the abundance of milk that they shall give it. He shall eat butter, for butter and honey shall everyone eat that is left in the land. And it shall come to pass in that day that every place shall be where there were 1,000 vines, 1,000 siblings. It shall even be for briars and thorns, with arrows and with bows shall men come thither, because all the land shall become briars and thorns. And on all the hills that shall be digged with a mattock, there shall not come thither the fear of briars and thorns, but it shall be for the sending forth of oxen and for the treading of the lesser cattle. Now here we go. So Isaiah told in verse 14, for the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, call his name Emmanuel. We pick it up right here. So after Isaiah got through talking to him, what he said in 14. Moreover, chapter 8, Isaiah 8, moreover, the Lord said unto me, take thee a great roll, write on it with a man's pen concerning Mahab Shabbat. That's the boy in chapter 14, Isaiah's son, right? So keep going. And I took unto me 2 faithful witnesses to recall Uriah the priest, Zechariah the son of Heber, and I went unto the prophetess, just the woman, right here, his wife, in chapter 14. I mean, Isaiah 7 and 14. So he went and got 2 witnesses, and I went unto the prophetess, that's his wife, that's the virgin. And she conceived and bore a son, and then said the Lord unto me, call his name. This the boy right here. Ain't got nothing to do with JC. So let me finish. So he says, for before the child shall have the knowledge to cry, my father and my mother, the riches of Damascus and the spoils of Samaria shall be taken away before the king of Assyria. So right here, he's going to get rid of those 2 kings. Isaiah going to have the boy, he's going to be the sign. Before he can be able to know good and evil, he's going to be got rid of those 2 kings. Then go to 5. The Lord spake also unto me again, saying, for as much as this people refuses the waters of Shiloh that go softly and require and rejoice in Rezin and Remaliah's son, now therefore behold, the Lord bringeth upon them the waters of the river, strong and many, even the king of Assyria and all his glory, and he shall come up over all his channels and go over his banks, and he shall pass through Judah, and he shall overflow and go over, and he shall reach even to the neck, and the stretching out of his wings shall fill the breadth of thy land, O Emmanuel. 9, associate yourself, O ye people, and ye shall be broken in pieces, and give ear, all ye of far countries, gird yourselves, and ye shall be broken in pieces. Gird yourselves, and ye shall be broken in pieces. Now here we go, what you just read. Okay, for the Lord to me with this Isaiah with a strong hand and instructed me that I should not walk in the ways of this people, saying, say ye not a confederacy to all them to whom this people shall say, a confederacy, neither fear ye their fear, nor be afraid. Sanctify the Lord of hosts himself, and let him be your fear, and let him be your dread. Right? And this is what 13, yeah, 13. Then it says, and he shall be for a sanctuary, but for a stone of stumbling and for a rock of offense to both houses of Israel, for gin and for the snare of inhabitants. So he's talking to those 2 kings in Isaiah 11 and 13, chapter 8. You wouldn't know that it was that complicated, but like I said, when they put JC in there, try to throw the story off, but we in the last days. Ain't working no more. It says, and the thoughts on Ezekiel 20, the whole chapter. Okay, Ezekiel 20. Any comments on what I just read? Okay.
No, sir.
All right. So I don't know what the intent was, but you got the answer. So I'm in Ezekiel chapter 20. Ezekiel chapter 20 says, yeah. Oh, so yeah, this is Ezekiel's coming to the house of Israel. He's warning them about their rebellion and that the Nebuchadnezzar is coming. So let me see what he said. 32 and 32 and 29 says, and that which cometh into your mind shall not be at all that ye say, we will be as the heathen, as the families of the countries, to serve wood and stone. As I live, said the Lord God, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out, I will rule over you, and I will bring you out from the people, and I will gather you out of the countries where you are scattered with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out, and I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face, like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt. So will I plead with you, said the Lord God, and I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bonds of the covenant, and I will purge out, okay? And I will purge out from among you the rebels and them that transgress against me, and I will bring you forth out of the countries which where thou sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Israel, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. As for you, O house of Israel, thus said the Lord God, go ye, serve every one his idol, and hereafter also, if ye will not hearken unto me, but pollute ye my holy name no more with your gifts and with your idols. So when you understand what's going on, as Ezekiel came at first, just like in Jeremiah, Ezekiel came in the beginning of Ezekiel, he's telling them right here what they sins are, and that he's gonna send them into Babylon. And then when we get to 32 and 39, he's telling them, yeah, you're gonna go to Babylon, but I'm gonna bring you out of Babylon. The same thing he did in Jeremiah. He told them you're gonna go to captivity in Babylon, but then he also tell them he's gonna regather them after they come out of Babylon, after they go to Babylon. And it's the same thing right here. Like I was saying before, you can't read these verses right here and try to project them into the New Testament. Because Ezekiel ain't talking about no New Testament. A prime example is, like I said right here, Ezekiel 39. Ezekiel 40, the vision of the temple. You got people going looking at this Ezekiel 40, talking about a temple going to be built in the future. They in Babylon. So this is the Zerubbabel temple that he's talking about. That he having a vision of. This is a temple that when Zerubbabel go back, they're gonna build a temple. Daniel 9:25. There's not no temple in the future that they're gonna build in the future. They in captivity in Babylon. They coming back. It's already been prophesied. They're gonna come back and rebuild Jerusalem. Daniel 9:25. Zerubbabel is the Messiah. In Daniel 9:25. That's what that's about. It's not projected into the future. That's the Edomite narrative. Okay. Right. So how you connect that is you see how he operates. Like he keeps saying us, knowing his ways. I was listening to a brother, Young Bucks today, how they was talking about when the Most High said that he said that I'm not like I said, when he told Manasseh, he had a problem with Manasseh. He brought Nebuchadnezzar to Israel because of what Manasseh had done. And what Manasseh had done was shed innocent blood in Jerusalem. So when you understand that, how can he have a son? And kill him on the cross in Jerusalem. When he abhorred Manasseh for shedding innocent blood. But now he come back, he got a son that that's sinless, and he gonna kill him in Jerusalem? No. That's how you rightly divide everything and get the truth out. How you gonna kill a son, an innocent son? Okay, same thing with the angels. How you gonna bring an angel to overshadow Mary when he put judgment on the 200 angels for coming down sleeping with women? Now you gonna turn around and you gonna send an angel to overshadow Mary to have a son? No, don't work. It'll work for the pagans, but not for no Israelite, awakened Israelite. Okay, yeah. It's all good, bro.
Shalom.
Okay. Yeah.
I'd like to make a correction when I was saying that Saul and Abner was second cousin. They were first cousins.
Right. Exactly. Right. And so, like I said, in that story, you notice that Saul made a deal with Abner to bring Michelle back to him because that was his wife. What he had got when he killed those 100 Philistines. Saul said the man that can go get 100 foreskins of 100 Philistines and bring it back to him, they can have his daughter. And David did that. But Michelle was rebellious. And Saul ended up giving it to somebody else. I think while David was in war, at battle off somewhere, he gave Michelle up to the other guy, the one that was following him. Yeah.
Shalom, Brother Leonard. That was something you brought up about the angels, right?
Right.
And how Mary so-called, got JC, right? So we were speaking about that the other day, some sisters and I, we was talking about that, and we was like, when you truly understand that, and then you go over to the New Trashman and you're reading that, like it just does not add up whatsoever when you understand about the fallen angels and the spirits. Like it makes no sense whatsoever.
Right, exactly.
Hmm.
Right. Yeah, I think that was in let me see if I can find that right quick. I think it was in Ezekiel chapter Jeremiah. Let me see right quick. Jeremiah 7. Verse, let me see. Because this is important. The same way with Manasseh. How is he going to judge Manasseh for killing innocent blood? Then he turned around himself and shed innocent blood. Don't make sense. So anyway, I'm in let me see, Jeremiah 7, I think it is. Jeremiah 7. Let me see. I can't remember. It's but anyway, he was talking to 30. Let me see if it's 30. 31. Yeah, here you go, 31. And they have built the high places of Tophar. This is Jeremiah 7 and 31. They have built the high places of Tophar, which is in the valley of Hinnom, and they burn their sons and their daughters in the fire, right? So this sacrifice. That's what he's talking about. Innocent blood. Shed innocent blood. They sacrificed their children, which I commanded them not. This is the Lord of hosts talking. I commanded them not. Neither came it into my heart. So how he got a son in the bosom that he gonna sacrifice? He was a lamb to be slaughtered from the beginning. He's telling you right here. He says, and they have built the high places at Tophar, which is in the valley of the son of Hinnom, to burn their sons and their daughters in the fire, which I command not. Neither came it in my heart. So he ain't got no plan to kill no, just shed no innocent blood in Jerusalem. That's a lie from the pits of hell. Right. Well, we see the same thing. We see the same thing with Manasseh. He judged Manasseh for shedding innocent blood. How you gonna turn around and shed innocent blood? It don't make sense. And like I said, he told us over and over again, he changed not. So all of a sudden, it's a dead cat on the line. If he all of a sudden do something else different, that's part of the Torah. Is not shed innocent blood. Okay, part of our law, statutes, and judgments. Okay, there's repercussions for that. Okay, anybody got anything else before we go?
Comment. Yes, sir. Just like he changed not yesterday, today, and tomorrow, so he's not going to change. So we can see that God being connected.
Exactly, right. And like I said, you shouldn't be easily knocked off your square when you get a sense. It's certain things that you know is solid and part of your foundation. And anything come up against that, you already know if it's suspect, you already know. That's something you can't allow somebody to come and knock you off the square for things you know that is solid and good. Well, I mean, another example is Ham. We just was reading where he said about read Psalm 78, and he was talking about Ham. He said, but he said, my people Israel. And then, but I went to Ham and destroyed Ham's tabernacles. So how they brothers? And then he loved Noah. He loved Noah. So that's why he had Ephraim. When he says Ephraim is my firstborn, why is he saying that? Joseph. He sent Joseph into Egypt. He already knew they was going to go into captivity, but he sent Joseph there ahead of time to save them. So Joseph, Ephraim, and Manasseh, the two boys he had, Ephraim was born. But we know he had to cast Ephraim off because of what Ephraim done. Then he took Judah. But he's telling you Ephraim is his firstborn. And you have to understand that. So he loved Ephraim and Manasseh because they Joseph's sons. So how can he come later and he loved Israel, which is out of Shem, but he don't love Ham's sons. But he loved Noah. No, because Noah Ham ain't none of his sons. That's why. He coming to deal with the sons from Adam to Shem to Jacob. He told Noah to go and get a man and a woman, a male and a female from all flesh. You had a man and a male and a female from Ham, which is the 6th-day man, and a man and a woman from Cain descendants, which is Japhet, and then his son Shem. That's the truth of that. So how is he bypassing these other two boys? He telling the Israelites, don't mingle with Japhet. Don't sleep with them. Don't let your sons marry their daughters. How they kinfolk? Come on. They ain't kinfolks. Okay. So everybody good?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So shalom.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'll see y'all tomorrow. We got our reading through the Tanakh. Shalom.
Shalom, everyone.
Shalom.
Shalom, everyone.
Shalom.
I highly recommend that you get this book and you read it because it's a must that you understand who the God head is in the order that's in the Old Testament in Tanakh, because it's not the same as in the New Testament. And when you read this and you get an understanding, then the scriptures open up and then you begin to understand. So I highly recommend that you get this book. It's the Elohim of Israel. And it's a breakdown on the word Elohim and who the God of Israel is and the Godhead.